Hey there! Tonight we're going to step back thousands of years and explore how ancient Egyptians really lived, their everyday lives, their beliefs, and the incredible culture that shaped one of history's most fascinating civilizations, and wonder if you could live their life. From the life-giving Nile River to the Grand Pyramids, there's so much more beneath the surface than just what you see in textbooks or movies. We'll uncover what homes looked like, what people ate, and how they dressed. We'll dive into their family life, work, and the incredible skills of scribes and artisans. You'll learn about their powerful gods, mysterious rituals, and what they believed happened after death. We'll also take a closer look at medicine, entertainment, trade, and the unique roles of women and children in society. This journey isn't just about facts, it's about stepping into their world, understanding their challenges and triumphs, and seeing how their everyday choices connected to the land, the gods, and each other. So get comfortable, because tonight we're unraveling the real story of ancient Egypt, far beyond the pyramids and pharaohs, into the heart of how they truly lived. You stand on the soft, sandy bank of the Nile, a great river stretching endlessly before you, calm, powerful, and eternal. Its water shimmers like molten glass under the blazing Egyptian sun. You feel the warmth of the breeze, carrying the scent of wet mud, papyrus reeds, and the faint hint of fish from the river's depths. The Nile is not just a river here. It is the very heartbeat of the land. It's what makes life possible in a desert where rain rarely falls and the sun scorches everything in its path. You quickly realize that the Nile governs your world. Without its annual flood, the soil would turn to dust and your crops would fail. The flood waters come every year like clockwork, rising slowly, then spilling across the banks, carrying dark, fertile silt. This mud settles on the fields, rejuvenating the earth after months of dryness. The flood's arrival is a time of celebration and relief, because it means food will grow and the community will survive another year. But the flood is not just a simple rise in water. It's a living cycle that shapes your life, your work, and your beliefs. You watch the river swell, feeling the anxiety and excitement ripple through the village. People prepare for the inundation months in advance, digging irrigation canals, reinforcing dikes, and organizing planting schedules. Every task is timed around the river's rhythm. You know that once the floodwaters begin to recede, the fields will be soft and fertile, ready for planting. Farmers spread seed grains of barley and wheat, carefully tended as they sprout into tall stalks. You work alongside them, guiding water through channels to ensure each plant receives enough moisture. This irrigation is your lifeline when the Nile retreats, for the river does not stay flooded forever. Traveling along the Nile, you see a tapestry of life unfolding. Fishermen cast nets from small reed boats, their calls echoing over the water as they haul in fish shimmering silver in the sun. Children play along the shore, their laughter mingling with the croaks of frogs hidden among the papyrus. Farmers till the soil, priests perform rituals to honor the river gods, and merchants prepare boats loaded with grain, pottery, and crafts destined for bustling towns upriver. The river is your highway, a route connecting villages, temples, and cities. You use boats made from bundles of papyrus tied tightly together, their sails catching the gentle wind. Traveling north, you move closer to the Mediterranean, trading goods, exchanging news, and spreading ideas. The Nile unites people in a way no desert road could, making it the spine of Egyptian civilization. At night, the Nile takes on a mysterious quality. The moonlight casts a silver sheen on the water's surface, and the river's soft murmurs fill the air. You hear the rustling of reeds as nocturnal birds settle in, and sometimes distant drums or chants from nearby settlements drift across the water. You feel a deep connection to this living river, aware that it is not just a body of water, but a sacred force. The Nile is worshipped as a god Hapi, the bringer of fertility and abundance. Priests lead ceremonies during the flood season, offering prayers and sacrifices to ensure the river's generosity continues. You watch as boats glide silently downriver, carrying offerings wrapped in lotus blossoms and incense smoke curling into the sky. The whole community feels the spiritual pulse of the river, recognizing that their survival depends on its benevolence. Your home sits close to the Nile's edge, clustered with other families who share this intimate relationship with the river. Your walls are made from sun-dried mud bricks, crafted from the very silt deposited by the floodwaters. The river's gift builds not only your crops, but your houses, your tools, your entire way of life. You learn the seasonal calendar by watching the river. When the floodwaters rise, you know it's time to prepare the fields. When the waters recede, it's time to sow seeds and tend crops. When the river runs low, it signals the harvest is near. This rhythm shapes everything you do, every decision you make. But the Nile's power is double-edged. Sometimes the floods are too low, and the earth cracks beneath your feet. Hunger gnaws at the village, and tension rises. Other years, the floods swell beyond their banks, drowning homes, destroying crops, and forcing your people to rebuild from the ashes. You witness the delicate balance between nature's generosity and its fury. Despite this uncertainty, you place your trust in the river. You learn to read its subtle signs, the color of the water, the patterns of the clouds, the songs of birds flying south. This knowledge is passed down through generations, an ancient wisdom that connects you to your ancestors who lived and died by the Nile's flow. You see how the river shapes the culture around you. Festivals mark its cycles. The Opet Festival, celebrating the god's journey along the Nile. The Festival of the Valley, honoring the dead who traveled the river to the afterlife. Music and dance fill the air during these times, a joyful expression of gratitude and reverence. Your identity is tied to this river. You think of the pharaohs who claim divine power through their connection to the Nile, the priests who maintain sacred rituals, the farmers and fishermen who sustain the community. The Nile is more than a river. It is the source of your existence and your hope. As the sun sets, casting the river in hues of gold and crimson, you feel a profound sense of belonging. You are part of this cycle, living, working, and worshiping alongside the Nile's eternal flow. Without it, you would not be here. With it, you carry forward the legacy of a civilization born from water and sand. You close your eyes, listening to the gentle murmur of the Nile as night falls. You know tomorrow the river will rise or fall, but its song will never end. This river is your lifeline, the pulse of the land, and the soul of ancient Egypt. You step through the narrow streets of an ancient Egyptian town, the heat of the sun warming the packed earth beneath your feet. Around you, houses rise in neat clusters, their walls sun-baked and smooth. This is your neighborhood, the place where daily life unfolds, where families live, work, and gather. Though the city stretches beyond what you can see, here in this small neighborhood, the rhythm of life feels familiar and steady. Your home is modest but sturdy, a shelter built with care from mud bricks made of Nile silt mixed with straw. These bricks, shaped by hand and dried under the sun, form thick walls that keep out the heat during the day and hold warmth at night. You know the walls well, their faint cracks, and the slight unevenness where the sun has worn them over time. The flat roof above is often used for sleeping during hot nights or drying grains in the early morning sun. As you approach your house, you notice the simple doorway, shaded by a cloth awning that helps keep the intense sunlight at bay. There is no glass in the windows, just small openings cut into the walls to let in air and light. At times, thin mats or woven reeds cover these openings to protect against dust and insects. Inside, the space feels cool and quiet, the thick walls muffling the distant sounds of the bustling streets. The rooms are small, arranged around a central courtyard. This open-air courtyard is the heart of your home, a place where your family cooks, cleans, and spends much of the day. Around its edges, you find storage jars filled with grain, baskets woven from palm fibers, and the tools of daily life. Your furniture is simple but functional. Low stools and mats for sitting, wooden chests for storing clothes, and a stone grinding basin for turning grain into flour. You learn to make do with little, using every item carefully and fixing what breaks. The scent of baked bread and fresh herbs lingers here, mixing with the earthiness of the mud walls. Beyond your home, the neighborhood stretches out in winding alleys and narrow lanes. Unlike the grand temples and palaces reserved for the pharaoh and the wealthy, your neighborhood belongs to common people, farmers, craftsmen, merchants, and laborers. Their homes are similar in size and style, clustered close together for community and protection. You know many of your neighbors by name. The baker who rises before dawn to prepare bread, the potter who shapes clay into vessels, the scribe who walks these streets carrying scrolls of papyrus. Children run freely through the alleys, playing games and chasing one another, their laughter echoing between the walls. Life here is communal. Water is drawn from shared wells or the nearby Nile canal. Waste is carefully managed, thrown outside the walls, or composted for use in fields. You and your neighbors gather to celebrate festivals, share meals during special occasions, and support one another when hardship strikes. Some homes in the neighborhood belong to wealthier families. Their houses are larger, with multiple rooms and sometimes a second story. They may have small gardens enclosed by low walls, where fragrant flowers and herbs grow. You notice the finer pottery, linen curtains, and more elaborate furniture that mark their higher status. Still, even among differences, a shared connection binds everyone. This neighborhood is your home, a place shaped by the land, the river, and centuries of tradition. As the sun climbs higher, you feel the warmth pressing against the walls. The air is filled with the smells of cooking fires, lentils simmering, fish roasting, and bread baking. Women gather in doorways, weaving mats or spinning flax into linen thread. Men prepare tools for work or repair fishing nets. The pace of life is steady but busy. The rhythm is set by the sun and the river, by market days and religious festivals, by the call to work and the return to rest. In the evening, as the heat fades, the neighborhood comes alive in different ways. Families sit outside, sharing stories and songs. Children learn from their elders, watching as they weave tales of gods and ancestors. The stars above are bright and clear, and the sound of crickets mingles with distant laughter. You feel safe here, surrounded by familiar faces and the sturdy walls of your home. This place is your refuge from the vast, sometimes harsh world beyond. The neighborhood is more than a collection of houses. It is a living community, shaped by relationships, shared history, and daily life. It is where you belong. You awaken as the first light seeps over the horizon, painting the sky with soft hues of pink and gold. The air is cool and fresh, filled with the mingling scents of earth, water, and smoke from nearby hearths. Today, like every day, your life begins with food, the sustenance that will carry you through the demanding work and harsh climate of ancient Egypt. What you eat, how you prepare it, and the rituals surrounding your meals are woven into the fabric of your existence, connecting you to your family, community, and the land that nurtures you. Bread is your morning's first comfort. You can almost smell the faint aroma of fresh loaves baking in the communal oven. Bread is everywhere in your home, in the markets, and on temple altars. It is made primarily from emmer wheat or barley, grains that have been grown in the rich, silt-laden soil nourished by the Nile's annual floods. These grains are the product of careful cultivation, handed down through generations, each seed carrying the promise of life. The process of bread making begins with grinding the wheat or barley between two large, flat stones. You remember the steady rhythm of your mother's hands as she turns the upper stone in circles, crushing the grains into coarse flour. This flour is then sifted to remove larger husks, leaving a powder that is ready to be mixed with water and a small amount of yeast. This yeast, often derived from leftover dough or natural fermentation, causes the dough to rise, giving the bread a slightly lighter texture. The dough is shaped into thick, round loaves and baked on hot stones or in clay ovens heated by wood or dried reeds. The result is a dense, hearty bread with a thick crust and a chewy crumb. This bread is not like the soft, airy loaves you might imagine. It's a staple that fills your stomach and provides energy for the demanding day ahead. You often tear off a piece and dip it into stews or sauces, making every crumb count. Beer is another essential part of your diet, thick, slightly sour, and nourishing. Made from barley, it's brewed by fermenting soaked grains with water, sometimes flavored with dates or herbs. Beer serves as a daily drink for many, offering hydration and calories when water alone isn't enough. It is consumed by young and old alike, often poured into small cups or reed baskets during meals or communal gatherings. Drinking beer is a social act, a moment to pause, share, and connect. Fish from the Nile provides vital protein and flavor. You see fishermen casting their nets from reed boats early in the morning, their skilled hands working the tangled mesh to bring in tilapia, catfish, and perch. Fish is eaten fresh, grilled over open fires, boiled in clay pots, or dried and salted for preservation. The smoky aroma of roasting fish fills the air, mingling with the scents of bread and herbs. Vegetables and legumes add variety and nutrition to your meals. Onions, leeks, garlic, cucumbers, lentils, and beans are common ingredients, grown in small plots irrigated by the Nile's waters. These plants thrive in the rich soil and provide essential vitamins and minerals. You stew them slowly with herbs like coriander and cumin, often mixing in small amounts of fat from animals or fish to enrich the flavor. Meat, however, is a rare and prized commodity. Cattle, goats, and poultry are raised by families with the means to do so, but most of the population can only afford meat during festivals, religious ceremonies, or special occasions. When meat is available, it's roasted, boiled, or turned into jerky to be stored for later use. You cherish these moments, knowing the effort required to raise or hunt these animals. Sweetness comes from honey harvested from wild or domesticated bees, as well as from dates and figs dried in the sun. Honey is drizzled over bread or mixed into drinks, adding richness and flavor. Fruits are less common but treasured when available, eaten fresh or dried. Food preparation is a communal activity carried out by the women of the household, often accompanied by children learning the skills they will need. Grinding grain on stone querns, kneading dough, tending fires, and preparing pots of stew fill the kitchen area with sounds and scents. You use simple tools, wooden spoons, clay pots, grinding stones, all crafted with care and used until worn. Before each meal, you perform a small ritual. You offer thanks to the gods, Hathor, goddess of nourishment, Osiris, god of the fertile land, and Isis, protector of the home. You pour a little beer on the ground as an offering, whispering prayers for continued abundance and health. This act grounds you, reminding you that food is not merely a physical necessity, but a sacred gift. Meals are shared. You gather around mats spread on the floor or a low wooden table, passing bowls and plates among family members. Everyone takes what they need, mindful of waste, for food is precious. Eating together strengthens bonds, offering a moment of rest, connection, and gratitude amid daily toil. During religious festivals, food takes on special meaning. Large feasts are prepared in temple kitchens, with bread, beer, meat, and vegetables offered to the gods before being shared among priests and worshippers. These gatherings are vibrant with music, dance, and celebration times when the community comes together to honor divine blessings and renew social ties. You understand that every bite connects you to the land, the river, and your ancestors. The floodwaters that nourish the soil, the hands that plant and harvest, the skill that turns grain to bread all form a cycle of life that sustains you and your people. As the sun sets and your family settles after the day's labor, the warmth of the hearth and the comfort of shared food remind you of your place in this ancient world. A deep world shaped by the gifts of the Nile and the enduring traditions of your ancestors. You begin your day in a simple linen tunic, soft against your skin, even under the hot Egyptian sun. The fabric is light and breathable, perfect for the dry heat that dominates your world. Linen is the lifeblood of ancient Egyptian clothing, woven from flax plants grown along the Nile's banks. Its fine threads are spun into cloth by skilled hands, then bleached under the sun to a bright white that shimmers in the light. Your clothing is more than just protection from the elements. It is a statement of who you are and where you belong. From the common worker's simple loincloth to the pharaoh's elaborate robes, fashion reveals much about your status, your role, and your place within society. For most people, linen is the primary material, prized for its coolness and durability. Wool is rare and reserved for cooler seasons or northern Egyptians, while leather is mainly used for sandals and belts. Children often wear little clothing, their freedom reflecting youth and innocence. But as you grow older, your garments become more purposeful, fitting your age and responsibilities. Men typically wear a shendit, a wrapped skirt, or kilt made of linen fastened around the waist. These range from simple and short for farmers and laborers to longer, pleated versions for scribes or officials. Women wear sheath dresses called calasiris, often ankle-length and held by shoulder straps or sleeves. The fabric drapes gracefully over the body, sometimes decorated with colored beads or embroidery for those with means. The wealthy embellish their clothes with vibrant dyes, though natural dyes were limited and expensive. You may see hints of red, yellow, or blue on festive garments made from plant extracts or minerals. Most everyday clothing, however, remains undyed pure, clean white linen symbolizing purity and life. Jewelry is a vital part of your attire, worn by both men and women, rich and poor. Necklaces, bracelets, rings, and earrings crafted from gold, silver, copper, and semi-precious stones catch the sunlight and announce wealth and protection. Amulets shaped like scarabs, the eye of Horus, or lotus flowers carry magical meaning, guarding the wearer from harm. You pay particular attention to the use of makeup. Kohl lines your eyes in thick, dark strokes, not only for beauty, but as a shield against the harsh sun's glare and to ward off evil spirits. Women and men alike apply green malachite or black galena around their eyes. You also rub fragrant oils and perfumes into your skin, a practice that offers relief from dryness and insects and expresses social refinement. Hairstyles are carefully maintained. Many shave their heads to stay cool and avoid lice, wearing wigs crafted from human hair or plant fibers when attending ceremonies or social events. These wigs can be elaborate, adorned with beads and gold threads, signaling status and fashion. Your clothing also reflects your occupation. A priest's robes are pure white and finely pleated, symbolizing cleanliness and holiness. Soldiers wear leather sandals and carry simple tunics that allow ease of movement. Nobles drape themselves in fine linen and gold, flaunting their power and privilege in the bright light of the Nile. But clothing is not just about display. It is practical. The loose, breathable garments keep you cool in the relentless heat. Sandals protect your feet from the hot sand and rough terrain. The fabric's natural folds catch breezes, providing relief from the sun's intensity. You notice how your clothing connects you to your community and your gods. Certain colors and styles are reserved for festivals or religious rites. You might wear a linen sash dyed blue for a special occasion, or don a broad collar necklace symbolizing the favor of the gods. Modesty is respected, but there is a freedom in your attire, a harmony between the body, the land, and your beliefs. Clothing is an extension of your identity, woven from the threads of culture, nature, and spirituality. As you move through your day working, praying, celebrating, you wear your clothes as armor and expression, practical and symbolic, simple and beautiful. Through fabric and fashion, you tell the story of who you are in this ancient world, under the eternal gaze of the Nile. You awaken to the sounds of your household, stirring the soft voices of your mother and sisters, the low murmur of your father, preparing for the day ahead, and the distant laughter of children playing outside. Family is the cornerstone of your world. It defines who you are, what you do, and how you relate to those around you. In ancient Egypt, family and social structure are woven tightly together, a complex tapestry of roles, responsibilities, and bonds that guide daily life. From the moment you open your eyes, you are enveloped in the rhythms of family life. Your mother is the heart of the home, caring for children, preparing food, weaving linen, and managing the household's needs. She teaches you the skills necessary to survive and thrive, how to prepare bread, tend the fire, and respect the gods. Her role is not only domestic, but also deeply spiritual, as she passes down traditions, stories, and values that shape your understanding of the world. Your father, meanwhile, holds the role of provider and protector. He works in the fields, at the market, or in the workshops, ensuring your family has the resources to live. His authority guides decisions and maintains order, but respect flows both ways. You see your parents as partners in life's challenges, their shared duties binding them tightly. Men and women each have distinct but complementary roles, creating a balanced household where everyone contributes. Men often handle external affairs, farming, trading, craftsmanship, while women oversee the home and family's internal life. Yet, these roles are flexible, and cooperation is essential. You may find women trading goods or men assisting with household tasks during busy times. Children are cherished and carefully raised. From infancy, you are nurtured and taught to observe, listen, and learn. Your early days involve games and stories, but also lessons in respect, obedience, and skill building. By the age of 7, you are expected to begin contributing, helping fetch water, tending animals, or assisting with weaving. The family functions as a unit, each member playing a vital role. Extended family is equally important. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins live nearby or within the household compound. They share resources, labor, and care, forming a network of support. You learn from elders who hold wisdom and memory, keep traditions alive, and provide guidance through life's uncertainties. Marriage is a cornerstone of social life. When you marry, you join two families, creating new bonds and responsibilities. The ceremony is simple yet meaningful, a contract sealed with gifts and promises. Women often move to their husband's home, but they maintain ties with their birth family. Husbands and wives share duties, raising children together and managing property. Social status influences family life. Noble families live in larger homes with servants and wealth, while commoners' households are smaller and simpler, but no less close-knit. Yet, across classes, the values of loyalty, respect, and cooperation are universal. Children's education varies by status. Sons of scribes or officials might learn to read and write, preparing for government roles. Others learn trades from their parents or community. Girls are taught household skills, but also play active parts in religious festivals and social events. Religion permeates family life. Daily prayers and offerings to household gods and ancestors connect you to the divine. Festivals mark seasons and milestones, births, marriages, and deaths, binding your family to the cycles of nature and spirit. You witness the importance of funerary practices too. Family members care for the dead with rituals, offerings, and tombs, ensuring a safe journey to the afterlife. These acts honor ancestors and reinforce the living family's identity. Conflict and hardship test family bonds. Illness, famine, or disputes require cooperation and forgiveness. You learn that family is the first refuge in times of crisis, a source of strength and healing. In your community, social structure extends beyond family. Craftsmen, priests, farmers, and officials each hold roles that support society's functioning. Respect and hierarchy shape interactions, but mutual dependence keeps the society cohesive. As you grow, you realize that your family is both a private sanctuary and a vital part of a larger social web. Through your roles and relationships, you carry forward traditions, values, and the continuity of your people. At night, as you gather with your family, sharing food, stories, and prayers, you feel the deep bonds that hold you together. Family is not just a group of people. It is the foundation of your identity, your security, and your future. You wake as the first light creeps over the horizon, painting the Nile's waters with gold and pink hues. The air is cool, but will soon grow hot. From this moment until the sun dips below the sky, your life will revolve around work rhythm as ancient as Egypt itself, vital and relentless. Work is not just a task. It defines you. It ties you to your family, your community, and the gods who watch over your land. If you are a farmer, you know the blessing and curse of the Nile. Its annual flood leaves behind rich, fertile soil, the lifeblood of Egypt. Your day begins before dawn with the sound of water lapping at the banks. You carry your wooden plow and head for the fields where rows of barley, wheat, and flax await your care. With steady hands, you dig irrigation channels, guiding water carefully to your crops. You know the river's moods well. A flood too low means famine. Too high brings destruction. The work is grueling. The sun's heat quickly becomes oppressive, turning sweat into dust on your skin. You labor with simple tools, wooden hoes, stone sickles, and rely on oxen to pull heavy loads. Your hands blister and your back aches, but you endure. Every seed you plant carries the weight of your family's survival. You understand that the granaries of the kingdom depend on you. Beyond planting and harvesting, you repair tools, mend fences, and tend livestock. Your children run at your feet, learning to respect the land. Farming is a family affair, a sacred duty passed down through generations. You offer prayers to Hapi, the Nile god, asking for abundant floods and fertile fields. Artisans add beauty and function to daily life. If you are a potter, your workshop is filled with the smell of wet clay and the sound of spinning wheels. Your fingers shape vessels that hold grain, water, and oil objects that are both practical and artistic. You craft amulets to protect families and small statues to honor gods. Weavers turn flax fibers into fine linen, the fabric of Egypt. The process is long and delicate, harvesting flax, soaking it, spinning threads, then weaving them into cloth. Linen clothes the rich and poor alike, but the quality varies: finely woven garments for nobles, coarser cloth for laborers. Your weaving connects you to the earth and the sun that ripens flax. Carpenters shape wood into furniture, boats, and tools. Metal workers smelt copper and gold, creating weapons, jewelry, and ritual objects. Jewelers craft intricate pieces, setting precious stones into delicate gold. Your craftsmanship honors the gods and the pharaohs, and you take pride in your skill. Scribes hold a special place in society. You sit in shadowed rooms with papyrus scrolls, your reed pen gliding over hieroglyphics. Writing is an art and a power. Years of training have sharpened your mind and fingers. You record laws, tax records, stories, and religious texts. Your work preserves Egypt's history and order. Scribes enjoy privileges, exemption from manual labor, better food, and social respect. You might rise to serve as an official, a judge, or a teacher. Your literacy makes you indispensable, a guardian of knowledge, bridging past, present, and future. Priests are spiritual leaders. You wear pristine linen robes and carry out rituals in majestic temples. Your days are filled with prayers, offerings, and chanting to gods like Amun, Isis, and Osiris. You tend sacred fires, clean statues, and interpret omens. Your role connects humans to the divine, ensuring balance in the cosmos. You organize festivals that draw crowds from far and wide, celebrating the cycles of nature and the power of the gods. You train novices, passing on sacred knowledge. Your status gives you influence and responsibility. Trade is the kingdom's artery to the wider world. Merchants navigate the Nile in boats laden with goods, gold, papyrus, spices, fine linen, and ceramics. You travel deserts on camel caravans, facing dangers from bandits and harsh weather. Trade brings wealth and exotic ideas, enriching Egyptian culture. As a laborer, you build the monuments that have become Egypt's legacy. You haul enormous limestone blocks, carve statues, and plaster walls. Your work is backbreaking, under overseers' watchful eyes. Though exhausting, you feel pride knowing you help create temples and pyramids that will last eternity. Women's labor sustains home and society. Mothers and daughters weave cloth, brew beer, prepare food, and nurture children. Women serve as priestesses, musicians, and healers. Their contributions are vital, though often overlooked. You see women managing households, trading in markets, and taking part in religious life. Your occupation is shaped by family and status. Sons learn their father's trade. Daughters watch their mothers and grandmothers. Apprenticeships begin early, and education varies with social class. Nobles may study administration or military arts. Commoners learn crafts and farming. Your workday is dictated by the sun. Mornings and late afternoons are for labor. Midday is for rest. Festivals and holy days break the routine. Work is not just toil, but ritual and offering to gods and ancestors. Despite hardships, your labor gives you identity and purpose. You are part of a living tradition, connecting land, community, and the eternal. Through your hands, Egypt endures. You step through the heavy doors of the scribe school, a place unlike any other in ancient Egypt. It is here that the kingdom's future scribes gather not children of common laborers, but those destined for a rare and powerful path. The walls are lined with papyrus scrolls, wooden palettes, and reed pens, tools that will become your closest companions. Your journey into the world of letters, symbols, and knowledge is about to begin. Education in ancient Egypt is a privilege, and your training as a scribe is a rigorous, demanding process. From a young age, boys, sometimes girls, though rarely, are selected for schooling based on family status and potential. You are immersed in a world where words hold power and writing is the key to authority. To become a scribe is to become a guardian of Egypt's laws, religion, history, and administration. Your day begins early. You sit cross-legged on mats, the sun filtering through open windows. Your teacher, often a seasoned scribe himself, speaks with authority, guiding you through the complex system of hieroglyphs, hieratic, and later Demotic scripts. These are not just letters. They are symbols alive with meaning. Some represent objects, others sounds, and many are intricate combinations of both. Learning them requires patience and dedication. The first lessons focus on memorizing the signs. You practice endlessly, tracing characters on wax boards or papyrus sheets. Your reed pen dips into black ink made from soot and gum. Mistakes are met with strict correction. Precision is essential. Writing is sacred, and errors are unacceptable. You learn to write names of gods, pharaohs, and common nouns, the building blocks of language. Beyond symbols, you study grammar, syntax, and style. The Egyptian language is rich and poetic. You read hymns to the gods, royal decrees, and tales of ancient heroes. Stories are powerful. They carry wisdom and cultural identity. Your teacher encouraged you to understand not just how to write, But why? Writing is a bridge between the earthly and the divine, a tool for preserving order and justice. School is demanding. You spend long hours practicing, often writing the same signs over and over until they become second nature. Your hands ache from holding the thin reed pens. Your eyes strain under flickering oil lamps during evening lessons. But with each day, your confidence grows. You begin composing simple text letters, inventories, prayers. The scribal tradition emphasizes accuracy, clarity, and elegance. Discipline extends beyond academics. You learn about respect, obedience, and the sacred role of the scribe. Your teacher imparts lessons on morality and duty, reminding you that scribes serve both gods and pharaohs. You are trained to be loyal, discreet, and trustworthy. The written word shapes society, and you hold the power to influence its course. Scribes are more than clerks. They are administrators, historians, and priests. After completing your education, you may work in temples, royal courts, or government offices. Your writings keep track of taxes, legal judgments, trade transactions, and religious ceremonies. Through your hands, the kingdom runs smoothly. Hieroglyphs themselves are magic. You learn that these symbols are not merely functional, but hold spiritual significance. Inscribing a name or prayer on a tomb or statue preserves a person's memory and ensures their journey to the afterlife. The power of writing is believed to affect reality, making scribes revered and sometimes feared. As you master scripts, you also study mathematics and geometry, essential for land measurement, construction, and administration. Your knowledge extends beyond language to the practical sciences that keep Egypt thriving. You begin to understand how scribes serve as the kingdom's backbone, balancing art, religion, and governance. The scribal school is a close-knit community. You form bonds with fellow students, sharing the challenges and triumphs of your education. You also witness the social divide. Scribes live better than farmers or laborers, enjoying privileges like exemption from heavy work and better provisions. But with privilege comes responsibility. Your role is to serve the kingdom faithfully. Throughout your life, learning continues. You attend temple schools for further training, especially if you pursue priesthood or high office. The pursuit of knowledge is lifelong. You may eventually teach others, passing on the sacred tradition. You understand that your writing is a gift and a duty. Through symbols, you connect Egypt's past with its present and future. Your hands hold the power to preserve culture, enforce law, and honor the gods. In a world where the spoken word fades quickly, your inscriptions endure, whispering stories across millennia. You wake every morning aware that the gods are watching, their presence both comforting and demanding. Their power is felt everywhere in the warm rays of the sun, the fertile soil along the Nile's banks, the birds soaring overhead, and even in the simple, everyday objects you use. Your life is intertwined with theirs, a constant dance between mortal and divine. The Egyptian pantheon is vast. You know about hundreds of gods and goddesses, each with a role to play. Some are protectors of cities or families. Others govern natural forces like the sun, the moon, and the Nile itself. You call on Bastet for protection against evil spirits, Hathor to bless love and motherhood, and Thoth to grant wisdom. The gods have animal forms: falcons, cats, crocodiles that remind you of their wild, unpredictable nature, but they also bear human traits, making them relatable. You have learned that maintaining Ma'at, or cosmic balance, is the highest duty. This principle governs everything, from justice in the courts to order in the heavens. When you live truthfully, show kindness, and respect the gods, you contribute to the harmony that keeps the universe stable. If chaos were to take hold, floods would fail, crops would wither, and disaster would strike. Your household shrine is a daily reminder of this sacred balance. You light incense sticks, pour small libations of beer or water, and place offerings of bread or fruit before the statues of your family's patron gods. These acts may seem small, but they are the threads that keep the divine woven tightly into your world. You whisper prayers for health, fertility, and protection words passed down through generations. Temples, grand and awe-inspiring, serve as focal points for worship and community. The priests who serve there live disciplined lives, performing daily rituals precisely to maintain the god's favor. You've witnessed the power of these ceremonies during festivals, where the air is thick with the smell of myrrh, and the sound of chanting fills the vast halls. People come from far and wide to take part in processions, music, and dance that honor the gods and reaffirm the connection between humanity and the divine. The afterlife shapes how you live every day. Death is not the end, but a journey to a new existence. This belief comforts you when loved ones pass on, and it motivates you to live honorably. You know that the preservation of your body through mummification is essential. Skilled embalmers remove organs carefully, wrap your body in layers of linen, and place amulets and charms between the folds to protect your spirit. The rituals of the opening of the mouth ceremony fascinate you. Priests touch the mummy's mouth with sacred tools, symbolically restoring the deceased's ability to eat, speak, and breathe in the afterlife. It's a moment charged with hope, ensuring that you will continue to exist beyond death's veil. Your heart pounds with reverence as you learn about the weighing of the heart in the Hall of Two Truths. There, Anubis, the jackal-headed god of embalming and death, weighs your heart against the feather of Mot. This feather represents truth and justice. If your heart balances perfectly, you are granted passage to the field of reeds, a paradise resembling an idealized version of Egypt, where you will live in peace, surrounded by family and plenty. But if your heart is heavy with sin, dishonesty, cruelty, or selfishness, Amit, a fearsome creature part lion, hippopotamus, and crocodile, will devour it. This means annihilation, a second and permanent death. The terror of this fate influences your actions profoundly. You strive to live honestly, avoid harm, and honor your duties. Religious festivals provide joy and relief from daily toil. Events like the Sed Festival, celebrating the renewal of the pharaoh's power, and the beautiful Feast of the Valley, honoring the dead, bring communities together in celebration, remembrance, and worship. You take part with offerings, music, and dance, feeling connected to your ancestors and the divine. The role of the priesthood is complex and powerful. Priests are guardians of sacred knowledge, keepers of ritual purity, and intermediaries between gods and people. They conduct oracles, interpret dreams, and maintain temple wealth and lands. You may never be a priest, but their presence commands respect and sometimes awe. You marvel at the art and architecture inspired by religion. The Grand Pyramids stand as eternal tombs for pharaohs, built with precise alignment to celestial bodies. Temples like Karnak and Luxor showcase intricate hieroglyphs and massive statues, testaments to devotion and the desire for immortality. Every color, symbol, and form holds meaning, telling stories of gods and kings. Religion also influences law, governance, and social order. The pharaoh is divine, a god on earth chosen by the gods to rule. His decrees are sacred law, and his duty is to uphold Mat. You see how the political and spiritual worlds are intertwined. Temples own land and resources. Priests advise rulers, and religious legitimacy supports power. Despite the grandeur, your personal faith is intimate. You wear amulets, scarabs for protection, the Eye of Horus for health, and symbols for life. You pray quietly for your family's well-being, for safe journeys, and for healing. You believe the gods listen and intervene, rewarding piety and punishing injustice. Through religion, you find meaning in suffering and hope beyond the inevitable. Life's hardships, loss, and uncertainty are balanced by the promise of divine justice and eternal peace. The gods are not distant figures, but active participants in your life's journey. Your faith sustains you, shaping your worldview and guiding your actions. It connects you to your ancestors and your descendants, a timeless chain woven through Egypt's endless sands and flowing Nile. You wake with a heavy head and aching limbs. In ancient Egypt, illness is a reality you cannot ignore, but the way you understand it is very different from what you might expect. Sickness is not always just physical often. It is seen as the work of malevolent spirits or the imbalance of divine forces. Healing blends practical knowledge, herbal remedies, and powerful magic, all working together to restore your health and harmony. When you fall ill, your first hope is the local healer, often a priest or an experienced woman in your community. These healers are more than mere doctors. They are intermediaries between the earthly and spiritual worlds. They use a combination of remedies drawn from nature and sacred spells handed down through generations. The belief that gods and spirits influence health is deeply rooted. You know that evil spirits or the wrath of gods like Seth or Sekhmet can cause disease, and only through rituals and offerings can you hope to be cured. Your treatment begins with diagnosis. The healer observes your symptoms carefully: fever, coughing, rashes, or swelling, and asks questions to understand your lifestyle and any recent spiritual disturbances. They examine your pulse and sometimes use touch or even magical amulets to read your fate. Their knowledge comes from medical papyri, sacred texts filled with instructions, recipes, and spells. The Ebers Papyrus and Edwin Smith Papyrus are famous examples, containing hundreds of remedies and surgical techniques. You learn that many remedies are surprisingly practical. Plants and minerals found along the Nile and desert regions become your medicine cabinet. For pain, willow bark and honey are used. For infections, garlic, onion, and myrrh offer relief. Poultices made from herbs and animal fats are applied to wounds. You chew willow leaves or drink infusions of licorice root to soothe stomach ailments. Castor oil cleanses the body, while natron and natural salt helps heal wounds and dry out infections. Surgery, although limited, is performed with remarkable skill. You may witness healers setting broken bones with splints made from wood and linen. They use knives fashioned from obsidian or flint to drain abscesses or remove tumors. Surgical tools are simple but effective. You understand that cleanliness and care are crucial. Wounds are washed with wine or water infused with herbs to prevent infection. Magic plays an indispensable role in healing. You see the healer draw protective symbols on your body or around your home. Incantations are whispered to banish evil spirits and call upon protective gods like Thoth, the god of wisdom, or Isis, renowned for her healing powers. Amulets bearing symbols such as the Eye of Horus or the Jed Pillar are worn to safeguard health and strengthen the body as defenses. You also take part in rituals. The healer may burn incense, sprinkle holy water, or offer food to the gods, asking them to intercede on your behalf. Prayers are recited, invoking divine aid. Sometimes these rituals are performed at temples, places charged with sacred energy, where priests are skilled in both medicine and magic. Mental and spiritual health are as important as physical. Depression or anxiety might be treated with calming herbs or charms, and your community often supports you with prayers and collective rituals. Dreams are taken seriously. You may visit an oracle to interpret visions that offer clues to your condition or suggest remedies. Children, especially vulnerable to disease, are protected with care. Midwives use herbal mixtures to ease childbirth, and infants are given amulets to shield them from harm. Your role as a parent involves constant vigilance. Clean water is a luxury, so you carefully boil what you can and avoid contaminated sources to prevent illness. Diet plays a crucial role in health. You eat foods believed to strengthen the body: fish from the Nile, fresh vegetables, and bread made from emmer wheat. You avoid certain foods thought to cause illness, especially during times of spiritual imbalance. You recognize the social aspects of healing. Illness can carry stigma, sometimes seen as a punishment for sin or impurity. The healer's role includes not only treating the body, but restoring your place in society. Recovery means more than physical health. It means returning to harmony with the community and the divine. Despite limited technology, Egyptian medicine is surprisingly advanced. You benefit from centuries of observation, experimentation, and spiritual insight. Your healing practices blend the natural and supernatural in a way that feels complete, a holistic system where body, mind, and spirit are intertwined. As you recover, you carry a deep respect for the healers who blend science and magic, knowledge and faith. Their wisdom sustains you in times of suffering, reminding you that health is a gift from the gods, to be preserved with care, humility, and reverence. You rise from the hard labor of the day and step into a world alive with music, laughter, and celebration. Despite the demanding rhythms of life along the Nile, moments of joy and leisure are essential. Entertainment is woven into the fabric of Egyptian society, a release valve that connects people, honors the gods, and refreshes the spirit. Music surrounds you everywhere. From the bustling marketplaces to the tranquil homes, melodies float through the air. You hear the soft plucking of the harp, the steady beat of drums, and the high-pitched twang of the lyre. Musicians are valued members of the community. Some are professional performers attached to temples or courts. Others are skilled amateurs who bring joy to family gatherings. The instruments themselves are works of art. Harps are carved from wood, strung with gut or plant fibers. Their curved frames decorated with intricate paintings of gods and animals. Flutes made from reed produce haunting, lyrical notes that mimic the calls of birds along the Nile. You've held a sistrum, a metal rattle shaped like an ankh, and shaken it to summon the goddess Hathor's blessings. The rich sounds carry spiritual power as well as pleasure. Dance is an extension of this musical world. You watch as dancers, men and women alike, move gracefully, their bodies telling stories in fluid gestures. At festivals and celebrations, dances are performed to honor gods, celebrate harvests, or mark royal events. You learn dances passed down through generations, each step full of symbolism. The sway of the hips, the lift of the arms, the stamping of the feet, all connect you to your heritage and community. Board games offer another form of leisure, and you know their importance. You've played Senet, one of the oldest known board games, on wooden boards painted with squares and symbols. The game is more than a pastime. It's a reflection of the journey through the afterlife. Moving your pieces strategically, you feel connected to the eternal struggle between order and chaos, life and death. Winning a game is both fun and spiritually meaningful. Other games involve strategy, chance, and skill. You gather with friends to toss knucklebones or play dice, laughing and competing in friendly rivalry. Children learn these games early, honing their minds and social skills. You see how games create bonds and ease the pressures of daily work. Festivals are the pinnacle of leisure and communal joy. The Egyptian calendar is dotted with religious and agricultural celebrations that transform the entire community. You eagerly await events like the Festival of Opet, where statues of gods travel from one temple to another in grand procession, accompanied by music, dance, and feasting. Streets are decorated with flowers and banners, and the air buzzes with excitement. During festivals, you taste special foods prepared only for these occasions: sweet cakes made from honey and dates, roasted meats, and cold drinks brewed from barley. People wear their finest linen, adorn themselves with jewelry, and apply fragrant oils and colorful cosmetics. The atmosphere is one of release and renewal. Leisure also includes storytelling, a tradition cherished by all ages. You gather around fires or in shaded courtyards, listening to tales of gods, heroes, and ancient kings. These stories entertain, but also teach moral lessons and cultural values. You learn about clever Anansi-like figures who outwit enemies, or about the wisdom of Thoth, who invented writing and science. Storytelling keeps history alive, passing knowledge and identity through generations. You appreciate quiet moments too, sitting by the Nile's banks at sunset, watching fishermen cast their nets, or lying under the stars and marveling at the same constellations worshipped by your ancestors. These moments refresh your mind and soul. Sports are a part of leisure, though less documented. You hear of wrestling matches, archery contests, and boating races on the Nile. Physical skill is admired and encouraged, especially among the young and warriors. Such activities keep the body strong and prepare you for the demands of life. In your household, leisure time is a precious break. Families and friends come together to share music, food, and games. You celebrate births, weddings, and milestones with dance and song. Children play with toys, small wooden animals, dolls, and miniature furniture, learning about the world through play. The arts flourish as well. You admire painters, sculptors, and craftsmen who create works that decorate temples, tombs, and homes. Their creativity enriches your life, making even the ordinary extraordinary. Music, dance, games, and festivals are not merely distractions. They are essential expressions of human joy, cultural identity, and spiritual connection. In a world where survival often depends on the rhythm of the Nile and the will of the gods, these moments of leisure bring balance. They remind you that life is not only about work, but also about celebration, community, and the pursuit of happiness. You carry this joy within you, a light that flickers even during hard times. It connects you to the past and the future, to your neighbors and your gods. And as the music plays and the dancers move, you know that you are part of something greater, a vibrant, living tradition that will endure for millennia. You step out onto the sun-baked streets of your city, the golden light casting long shadows on buildings made of mudbrick and stone. The architecture around you is a reflection of everything ancient Egypt stands for: order, power, faith, and community. Though the pyramids capture the world's imagination, your daily life is shaped by a variety of structures, each with its own purpose, meaning, and story. Your home is humble but carefully constructed to meet your needs. Walls built from sun-dried mud bricks, thick and insulating, protect you from the intense heat of the day and the cool desert nights. These bricks are made from Nile mud, mixed with straw, and shaped and dried in the sun's simple materials, turned into lasting shelter. The flat roof serves as a sleeping area during warm evenings, where you gaze at the stars and feel connected to the cosmos. Inside, small rooms are arranged around a central courtyard where you cook, work, and socialize. Neighborhoods are compact and bustling. You navigate narrow alleys, the streets often unpaved, where children play and merchants sell their wares. Houses are clustered together, sharing walls and resources. The proximity fosters a close-knit community where everyone knows each other. You notice that wealthier families have larger homes with additional rooms, decorated with painted walls and fine furniture, while the poor live in simpler, more cramped quarters. The city layout is not random. It is carefully planned to reflect social hierarchy and religious order. Temples and administrative buildings dominate the center, symbolizing the divine and royal power that governs daily life. Markets and artisan workshops fill the surrounding areas, while residential districts spread outward. You see how urban planning reflects Ma'at, the balance and harmony Egyptians seek not only in nature, but also in society. Temples are among the most impressive structures you encounter. Their massive stone walls and towering pylons dwarf everything nearby, designed to inspire awe and reverence. Approaching a temple, you pass through monumental gateways decorated with relief carvings of gods, kings, and sacred animals. Inside, colonnaded halls lead to inner sanctuaries where priests conduct rituals. The temples serve not only as places of worship, but also as centers of learning, administration, and community gathering. Every detail of temple architecture has symbolic meaning. Columns carved to resemble bundled papyrus or lotus plants echo the natural world and its connection to creation myths. Walls are covered with vibrant frescoes depicting divine stories and ritual scenes meant to ensure cosmic order. Light and shadow play carefully across these surfaces, enhancing the spiritual atmosphere. You feel the weight of tradition and devotion pressing around you. Tombs, too, are architectural marvels, designed to safeguard the journey to the afterlife. Beyond the famous pyramids, many nobles and officials are buried in rock-cut tombs carved into cliffs, with decorated chambers filled with offerings and inscriptions. You visit a tomb and marvel at the precision of the hieroglyphs and paintings, which depict scenes of daily life, religious rituals, and the deceased's hope for afterlife. These tombs are both practical, preserving the body and belongings, and deeply spiritual, serving as eternal homes for the soul. The construction of these monuments is an immense communal effort. You watch as skilled laborers quarry limestone and sandstone, shaping blocks with copper tools. Teams of workers transport heavy stones on sledges lubricated with water, their coordinated effort reflecting social organization and discipline. The building of temples and tombs is a sacred duty, a contribution to the glory of the gods and the enduring legacy of the pharaoh. You also witness innovations in architecture beyond religious buildings. Granaries store the harvest, designed to protect food supplies from pests and moisture. Workshops and stables are functional spaces that support everyday life and the economy. Irrigation canals, lined with stone, help manage the Nile's floodwaters, sustaining agriculture and settlements. Urban centers show evidence of early engineering. Some towns have drainage systems to carry away waste and stormwater, improving sanitation. Streets are occasionally paved with stone slabs or compacted mud, making travel easier. Public spaces provide areas for social interaction, markets, and festivals, reinforcing communal bonds. In villages far from the grandeur of the cities, architecture is simpler but no less vital. You live among circular huts with thatched roofs or rectangular mudbrick homes arranged around open courtyards. These dwellings are adapted to the environment, designed to maximize shade, capture breezes, and conserve heat. Even here, homes are decorated with painted motifs and personal touches that reflect identity and beliefs. As you explore, you realize that architecture is a language, one that tells stories about power, religion, daily life, and the environment. The Egyptians shaped their world with stone and mud, turning materials into monuments that connect earth and sky, mortal and divine, past and future. Through these buildings, you experience the heartbeat of ancient Egypt, the enduring commitment to Mat, the reverence for the gods, and the celebration of life itself. You wake each day surrounded by the hum of activity, voices calling out, merchants shouting prices, the clatter of carts on dusty roads. Trade is the lifeblood of ancient Egypt, a complex web of exchange that connects your community to distant lands and fuels the prosperity of the kingdom. Whether you are a farmer, craftsman, or trader, your life is entwined with the flow of goods, ideas, and wealth that pulse through the bustling marketplaces and along the great Nile River. Your day might begin in the market square, a vibrant hub where goods from near and far are displayed. Colorful stalls overflow with grain, vegetables, pottery, linen cloth, and jewelry. You barter for spices brought from the Levant, copper tools mined from desert oases, or rare incense from the southern lands. The air is thick with scents, frankincense, myrrh, roasted meats, and freshly baked bread, drawing people from all walks of life. Markets are more than places of commerce. They are social centers where news is exchanged, alliances forged, and stories told. You meet friends and neighbors here, sharing gossip and trading favors. Merchants from Nubia, Libya, and the Mediterranean come with exotic goods, their different languages and customs adding a rich tapestry to the marketplace. Trade routes stretch across deserts, seas, and rivers, linking Egypt to civilizations as far away as Mesopotamia, Crete, and Punt. You may never travel these distant lands yourself, but their products reach you through a chain of intermediaries and caravans. Gold from Nubia gleams in the hands of jewelers, while cedarwood from Lebanon is prized for building temples and ships. Along the Nile, boats laden with goods glide silently through the water, navigating a natural highway that connects Upper and Lower Egypt and beyond. You watch as sailors unload baskets of grain, pottery, and luxury items, their movements choreographed by years of experience. River transport is vital, faster, and more efficient than land routes, enabling goods to move smoothly between regions. Your own livelihood might depend on crafting. Perhaps you are a potter shaping clay into vessels used for storing food and drink, or a weaver producing fine linen favored by nobles. Your work is part of a larger economy, one that demands quality and consistency to meet the needs of a diverse population. The government plays a crucial role in managing the economy. Taxes are collected in the form of grain, labor, or goods, supporting the pharaohs' projects, from temple building to military campaigns. You may be called upon to contribute labor during the inundation when fields flood and farming is impossible. This corvée system ensures the smooth functioning of society, though it can be a burden on common people. Trade is also deeply connected to religion. Offerings of food, drink, and luxury items are made to the gods in temples, symbolizing gratitude and seeking blessings for prosperity. You participate in festivals where traders bring gifts to the priests, reinforcing the link between the divine and economic well-being. Luxury goods like gold, lapis lazuli, ebony, and finely crafted jewelry are symbols of status and power. You admire the intricate work of goldsmiths who fashion delicate necklaces and amulets. These items are not just decorations, but carry protective and spiritual significance. Economic life is not without challenges. You navigate fluctuations in harvests caused by the Nile's changing patterns. Drought or flood can disrupt supply and force adjustments in trade and taxation. Political instability in neighboring regions can affect trade routes and the availability of goods. Despite these risks, the resilience and adaptability of Egyptian commerce sustain your community. You learn the art of negotiation, weighing the value of goods, and understanding the needs of your neighbors and distant partners. Bartering is common, but you also use a system of weights and measures to ensure fairness. Money as a coinage does not yet exist, so exchanges rely on goods themselves or on certificates of debt issued by temples and officials. You might receive grain or oil as payment for your labor or trade goods directly with another person's products. This system requires trust and reputation, valuable commodities in themselves. You notice how trade fosters cultural exchange. Along with goods come new ideas, technologies, and artistic styles that enrich Egyptian life. You see influences from the Levant in pottery designs or Mesopotamian motifs in jewelry. This interaction broadens your world and connects Egypt to a wider human story. In the towns and villages, small workshops and family businesses flourish. You may apprentice with a master craftsman, learning skills that will support you for life. Your role is vital in maintaining the steady flow of goods needed by the kingdom's vast population. The economy extends to agriculture, of course, the backbone of your sustenance and wealth. You work the fertile banks of the Nile, growing wheat, barley, flax, and vegetables. Livestock such as cattle, goats, and ducks supplement your diet and income. The rhythm of planting, harvesting, and storing crops dictates your year and your fortunes. Trade and economy are a constant balancing act between supply and demand, between local needs and foreign ambitions, between individual profit and communal survival. Your participation, whether direct or indirect, is essential to the strength and longevity of ancient Egypt. As you walk home through the twilight, baskets heavy with goods, you carry more than products. You carry the heartbeat of a civilization thriving on connection, innovation, and the enduring flow of the Nile. You live in a world where women's presence is woven into every aspect of daily life, from family to faith, work to governance. Unlike in many other ancient societies, women in Egypt hold a unique place, one of relative respect, legal rights, and influence. Their roles are complex and varied, shaped by tradition, but also by individual capability and circumstance. As a woman, or as someone interacting closely with women, you witness their strength, resilience, and essential contributions. From the moment of birth, gender shapes your path. You understand that both sons and daughters are valued in the family, though in different ways. Women are first nurturers, tasked with raising children, preserving family values, and managing the household. But they are far more than caretakers. Mothers teach their children the stories, customs, and skills they will need to thrive. Daughters learn to weave, cook, and prepare medicines, while sons might be trained in farming, trade, or scribal arts. Marriage is a central institution, but it is not a trap. You know that Egyptian law allows women to own property independently, enter contracts, and divorce if needed. This legal autonomy grants women power within their families and society. You might hear of women who inherit land or businesses from their fathers, managing estates and passing wealth to their children. Widows often take charge of their households and finances, respected for their wisdom and strength. Not all women are wealthy or free, of course. Some work as servants or laborers, and life can be hard. But even among lower classes, women have important roles helping in the fields during harvest, preparing food, making textiles, or selling goods in the market. Their labor is vital to family survival and economic life. In religious life, women hold special status as priestesses and temple workers. You might see women serving the goddess Hathor, known for music, dance, and fertility, or working as oracles and healers. These roles combine spiritual authority with social influence, giving women a public voice and presence. Priestesses participate in rituals that sustain the connection between gods and people, their voices carrying prayers and hymns through temple halls. Some women rise to extraordinary prominence. Queens such as Hatshepsut and Nefertiti wield political power alongside pharaohs. You have heard the stories of Hatshepsut, who ruled as a pharaoh in her own right, commissioning temples and leading expeditions. Her reign challenges traditional gender norms and leaves a lasting legacy of female leadership. Queens and royal women serve as diplomats, patrons of art and religion, and symbols of fertility and national prosperity. Education is available to women from elite families. You or your daughter might learn to read and write, mastering hieroglyphics and the arts of administration. Female scribes exist, their talents recognized in official records. This access to knowledge opens doors to influential positions and enhances women's roles beyond the household. Yet, gender also defines expectations. Modesty, loyalty, and care for family remain core values. Women's clothing, adornment, and behavior reflect their status and role. You might wear linen dresses, accessorize with jewelry, and use cosmetics not just for beauty, but to protect skin and eyes from the harsh sun and insects. These rituals of self-care are also expressions of identity and pride. You observe how women participate in community life, attending festivals, sharing stories, and supporting one another. Female friendships and networks create bonds of solidarity. Women help each other in childbirth, illness, and raising children, passing down knowledge through generations. At the same time, you are aware of challenges. Patriarchy exists, and men hold most political and military power. Women's voices are sometimes confined to the private sphere, but their influence is subtle and pervasive, shaping family decisions, religious practices, and economic activity. Women's funerary practices reveal their importance in life and death. Tomb paintings depict women with their families, engaged in music and dance, or participating in religious rites. Their mummies are often adorned with amulets and jewelry, symbolizing protection and eternal life. The care given to female burials underscores their valued place in society and the belief in an afterlife where gender roles continue. You may know stories of women healers and midwives, crucial in a world where childbirth is risky and medical knowledge limited. Their skills in herbal remedies, magic, and practical care save lives and strengthen communities. These women command respect for their knowledge and compassion. You also witness the celebration of femininity and motherhood in art and literature. Poems praise the beauty of women, their nurturing qualities, and their role in continuing the lineage. Gods and goddesses such as Isis, Hathor, and Sekhmet embody different aspects of womanhood love, protection, power-providing models for women's identities and aspirations. Ultimately, women in ancient Egypt live with a blend of tradition, rights, and agency. They navigate a world where their contributions are essential, their status respected, and their potential recognized, even if constrained by certain limits. As you walk the streets, work in the fields, or pray in the temples, you see women as pillars of family, faith, and society woven deeply into the fabric of Egyptian life. You remember the first time you saw a child run barefoot through the dusty streets of your village, their laughter rising like a bright song against the muted hum of daily life. Childhood in ancient Egypt is a unique chapter, filled with discovery, learning, play, and preparation for the responsibilities of adulthood. Though life can be harsh, the experience of growing up here is shaped by family, community, education, and the simple joys of play. As a child, your earliest days are spent close to your mother's side. You are cradled, fed, and soothed with gentle hands and lullabies. Breastfeeding is common, with mothers nursing for several years, nurturing both body and spirit. When the time comes to transition to solid food, you taste soft bread, onions, and fish, the staples of Egyptian diet. Your survival depends heavily on the care of your family, especially the women who raise and protect you. Family is your first school. You watch and learn by imitation, helping with small chores, observing adults at work, and absorbing the stories and traditions that define your people. Your parents, siblings, and elders teach you the values of math order, balance, truth, and the importance of respecting the gods and your community. Formal education is a privilege reserved mostly for boys from wealthier families, especially those destined to become scribes, priests, or officials. You might begin learning to read and write hieroglyphs around the age of 5 or 6. This education is rigorous. You practice writing on papyrus with reed pens, memorize religious texts, and study mathematics and history. Discipline is strict, and mistakes are met with firm correction. Your mastery of writing will determine your future prospects. Girls' education is generally more informal, but equally important within the household. You learn weaving, cooking, and managing a home skills necessary for running your own family one day. However, some girls from elite families also receive literacy training and participate in religious ceremonies, sometimes becoming priestesses or artisans. Play is your refuge and joy. You engage in games such as Senet, the ancient board game believed to represent the journey through the afterlife. Playing Senet is more than entertainment. It teaches strategy, patience, and spiritual lessons. You also play with spinning tops, marbles, and toy animals made from wood or clay, developing coordination and creativity. Physical activity is essential. You run, wrestle, swim in the Nile, and learn archery or boating. These skills prepare you for adult responsibilities, hunting, farming, or defending your community. Festivals provide opportunities for games and contests, where you cheer for competitors or join in the fun. Rites of passage mark your transition from childhood to adulthood. You observe ceremonies where boys are inducted into manhood, sometimes through formal instruction in skills and ethics, or through participation in military or religious training. Girls prepare for marriage and motherhood. learning from older women about childbirth, childcare, and household management. Family bonds are strong and enduring. You grow up surrounded by extended relatives, grandparents, aunts, uncles, who support you and share stories of ancestors. The home is a place of learning, security, and love, even as you begin to understand the duties and limits that society places upon you. You are taught respect for the gods from an early age. You participate in prayers, offerings, and temple visits with your family, learning the rituals that protect and bless your life. Religious festivals and holidays are highlights of the year, times of joy, music, dance, and communal feasting. Despite hardships, illness, labor, and sometimes loss, your childhood is filled with moments of wonder and growth. You learn to navigate the world around you, balancing play with responsibility, freedom with tradition. The experiences of these early years shape who you will become, grounding you in the culture and faith of ancient Egypt. Growing up here means joining a long chain of life, connected to the land, the gods, and your people. It is a journey marked by learning, laughter, and preparation for the future one you embrace with curiosity and strength. You stand before the figure who is both mortal and divine, the pharaoh, the living embodiment of Egypt's gods on earth. Their presence commands awe, respect, and unwavering loyalty. The pharaoh is not just a ruler. They are the bridge between heaven and earth, the guarantor of Ma, at the cosmic order that keeps chaos at bay and ensures the prosperity of the land and its people. From the moment they awaken in their gilded chamber, their day is a ritual of power and symbolism. You imagine the palace corridors lined with attendants, priests, and servants attending to every need. The pharaoh dresses in linen robes finely woven and embroidered with gold thread, wearing the iconic double crown that unites Upper and Lower Egypt. Each piece of regalia carries meaning. The crook and flail symbolize shepherding and discipline. The false beard represents divine authority, and the uraeus serpent on the forehead warns enemies and protects the realm. The pharaoh's role is multifaceted. As a political leader, they issue decrees that govern everything from taxation to trade. You hear of officials and scribes who carry out these orders, ensuring that the vast bureaucracy of Egypt runs smoothly. Laws are derived from the pharaoh's will, and justice is dispensed in their name. Their word is law, unquestioned and absolute. Religion permeates every aspect of the pharaoh's life. They are the chief priest, performing sacred ceremonies to honor gods like Amun, Ra, and Osiris. These rituals are not mere formality. They sustain the divine order that protects Egypt from disorder and disaster. You witness the pharaoh leading processions, offering sacrifices, and blessing the people, embodying the divine connection between gods and mortals. Military leadership is another vital aspect of the pharaoh's power. When threats arise, whether from foreign invaders or internal rebellions, the pharaoh commands the army, inspiring soldiers with the certainty of their divine favor. Victories are commemorated with monuments and inscriptions, glorifying the pharaoh's courage and strength. These triumphs affirm the pharaoh's role as protector and unifier. The pharaoh's relationship with the people is complex. You sense both distance and intimacy. While commoners rarely see the pharaoh in person, they feel their presence through grand festivals, monumental architecture, and the stability the pharaoh provides. Temples, pyramids, and statues stand as reminders of the pharaoh's power and divine favor. At the same time, stories and hymns praise the pharaoh's wisdom, kindness, and dedication to justice. You imagine life inside the palace, a world of luxury and ceremony. The pharaoh dines on delicacies brought from across Egypt and beyond, served by skilled cooks and attended by courtiers. The palace gardens bloom with exotic plants, fountains sparkle, and musicians play soothing melodies. But beneath this opulence lies a constant pressure to maintain order, uphold tradition, and fulfill divine duties. Succession is critical. You know that the pharaoh's heir is groomed from childhood, trained in governance, religion, and military affairs. The continuity of the dynasty ensures Egypt's stability. Royal women queens and princesses also wield influence, sometimes acting as regents or co-rulers, guiding the young pharaoh and maintaining the royal line. The pharaoh's image is carefully crafted and disseminated. Sculptors carve statues portraying idealized features, youthful, serene, and commanding. Reliefs depict the pharaoh triumphing over enemies, bestowing gifts, or communing with gods. This art shapes how the people perceive their ruler, blending reality and myth. You see how the pharaoh's power is maintained through a network of officials, priests, and nobles who administer the kingdom's affairs. These elites owe their status to royal favor and support the pharaoh's policies. Their loyalty is crucial in managing distant provinces, collecting taxes, and organizing labor for monumental projects like temple building and irrigation. Despite their exalted status, the pharaoh is also vulnerable. Illness, rebellion, or natural disaster can threaten their reign. You hear tales of rulers who faced challenges, plots, palace intrigues, or loss of favor with the gods. In these times, the pharaoh's strength and wisdom are tested, and their ability to inspire loyalty becomes a matter of survival. Ultimately, the pharaoh embodies the ideal of a perfect ruler, just, strong, and divine. Their life is a constant balance of human duties and godly expectations. You understand that their existence is not merely personal, but symbolic of Egypt itself, a nation striving for harmony between earth and sky, life and death, order and chaos. As you stand in the shadow of the pharaoh's grand monuments, you realize their power shapes not only the present, but the eternal memory of Egypt. Their legacy is carved in stone, sung in hymns, and lived by generations yet to come. Thank you for joining this journey into the heart of ancient Egypt, where every stone, every river bend, and every whispered prayer reveals a world both fascinating and alive. From the mighty pharaoh's palace to the simple homes along the Nile, you've seen how this civilization thrived on balance, faith, and community. Ancient Egypt wasn't just about grand monuments and gods. It was about real people like you, living, working, and dreaming in a world shaped by the Nile's rhythms and the power of tradition. If you enjoyed exploring this incredible civilization with me, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos diving deep into history's most captivating stories. Leave a comment below. What surprised you most about ancient Egyptian life? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, keep wondering, keep learning, and keep exploring the amazing stories of our past. See you in the next video.